guys, it's Sasha the Rice and Raw, and I wanted to make a video of some tips and tricks that I have been using to go vegan and stay vegan and lose weight and have this be my diet and not anyone else's diet. This is all working for me specifically, and I'm going to give you like those broad and general helpful tips to get to the place where you can make a diet that works for you specifically, for your goals and in the time of your life that you need this to work. So going vegan, main tips for going vegan that I found useful. Now some people can just jump into being vegan, awesome if you can, most people can't, and that's okay. And I get some comments from people who almost get like berated because they're trying to go vegan, they're doing it slowly, and then they're getting vegans getting mad at them for not doing it overnight. And I want to let you guys know it's okay to take your time. I would rather you take 5 years to figure out how to go fully vegan than to try it really quickly for 2 weeks and not eat enough and not do it properly and not learn how to eat vegan and then say, hey, veganism's stupid, it doesn't work. You know, I got really tired, I got anemic right away, I became protein deficient, I'm never gonna think about it again. You know, I want you guys to take your time. As long as you end up being vegan for the majority of your life, then it's okay to take your time to make sure that happens. So don't feel that pressure from people who are already vegan, who are like, oh no, it's easy to be vegan. It's easy to be vegan once you learn how to be vegan. It's just as it's easy to ride a bike, but it's really hard to learn. It takes kids forever to figure it out. Kids don't just jump on the bike and they're like, oh yeah, I own this, I know how to do it. Some kids can, maybe, but it takes a while. And you know, you gotta have some training wheels, and that's just how it is. So what I did and what worked for me was I said, hey, I don't really care for meat. And actually, I've been talking to a lot of people recently who are not vegan at all, and they're saying, I don't really like meat that much. I eat too much meat. I don't even think I like it. I think I just eat it because that's all I know. And so mostly I'd start with the meat and say, hey, you know what? I don't really like the taste of this. I don't necessarily need this. Chicken actually can be pretty damn dry and gross, so maybe I can give that up. Pork, well, I really love pigs. Pigs are really cute, and I love dogs, and if pigs are just as smart as dogs, if not smarter, then maybe I should probably give up eating pigs. My friend, she's not vegan or vegetarian, but she gave up eating pigs and red meat, and I still think that's really a feat. And that's something you have to be proud of. Don't be embarrassed that you can't go fully vegan just yet. Take your time with it. And so what I did is I cut out the meat first, and then I started to ask myself, well, how do I feel about having this? Do I really need this? So like, how do I feel about having this kind of cheese? Do I really need this kind of cheese? Do I really need milk? Can I give this up? Can I sub this out for something else? What about eggs? Can I sub this out for something else? Like chickpeas, yes. And it was a pretty slow progression of letting things go and being comfortable with it and saying, hey, I'm okay if I never have this again, because I know how it's going to benefit me and how it's going to benefit the planet and how it's going to benefit the animals. And those need to be conscious decisions that you make and that you're ready for. Another tip that I could see being really helpful is having like a vegan lunch, or just a vegan breakfast and a vegan lunch, and then having something that's maybe non-vegan for dinner, but eventually you'll phase that out. And then maybe eventually having one day a week where you're fully vegan, and then you go back to the days where it's like vegan breakfast, vegan lunch, non-vegan dinner. And you can kind of go about it like that as well. So those are the kind of two variations that I think can be really helpful to go vegan. To stay vegan, you gotta learn those recipes that are easy to make, that you love to eat, that you can eat like 5 times a week and not get sick of. And for me, that is my rice and avocados, and I wrap it up in a little bit of nori and dip it in a little bit of low sodium soy sauce with a little bit of sriracha. It's amazing. I love it. I could eat it all day, every day. And it's like so inexpensive. I cost it out. It's like $1.50. So I call it my $1.50 meal, because that's how much it costs me to have upwards of 800-900 calories of really healthy, delicious food. So there's that. You know, you got to find the staples that you really love. Like, see if you figure out if you like potatoes, how to prepare potatoes, different ways and variations of preparing potatoes, mashed potatoes, potatoes like with vegan cheese, or baked potatoes. I'm kind of blanking right now. You can see I don't really eat a lot of potatoes. You can make chippies, as Freely would call it, which is just you cut up potatoes like French fries, you put them in the oven. You don't need to even put oil on them, and then dip them in some healthy, maybe organic and healthy, non-corn syrupy ketchup, or make your own dressing. You can make like a potato soup of some sort. Rice is my thing. I really just love eating rice. I could eat rice plain. You could spice it up and put a little bit of sushi vinegar in, and a little bit of sugar and salt, some seasonings. You can put beans in it. There's so much you can do with rice. It's amazing. You can, so those are like the two staples that I really know. You can definitely try out healthier things like quinoa and all that, barley. Depends on if you want to have gluten or not. You need to figure that out. If you want to eat gluten, eat a little bit of gluten, or have no gluten. That's something, another step that you kind of have to experiment with and see what works for you and what makes you happiest. Easy, simple meals. You can do like a taco night and have like vegan tacos, and go into like different cultural cuisines and try to veganize recipes. So like, say you're Italian and you really love meatballs and spaghetti, guess what? You can make spaghetti. You can buy spaghetti vegan. You can have marinara sauce, and you can have vegan meatballs. Gardein or Gardein, I don't know how to pronounce it, is an amazing brand of vegan meats. And then also Beyond Meat makes incredible faux meats from plants that have the same texture, the same taste. It tricks me every time, really. I have to double check the box. I'm like, did they change the ingredients or something? So you can always veganize a recipe. Sometimes I'll see things on TV like Taco Bell, and I'm like, oh, I really want that. I can veganize it. I can make it healthier. I can make it so no animals have to suffer for my 10 minutes of pleasure, right? You know, because that's wrong. And then what really helped me go stay vegan really is watching Earthlings and watching those documentaries, and really putting yourself through seeing that, because you know it's really hard to watch and put yourself through that, but those animals are experiencing that every day. Like, I feel like we owe them that much just to know what is going on. And for me, like, it just became, that's not milk, that's not cheese to me. Like, I can't live without cheese. No, like, that's disgusting to me. Like, I look at cheese and I'm like, that's exploitation of a female animal. That is the saddest thing. That baby was ripped away from that mother, you know, way too young, and like the heartbreak that mom must have felt. And as a feminist, no, I'm not going to eat meat, or I'm not going to eat cheese. That's disgusting. I'm not going to have milk. I'm not going to have anything with milk in, because my values don't line up with that. And what you're going to start to realize is when you start going vegan, your values are not going to line up with eating meat and dairy, because I really do believe deep down inside every human that they love animals. And unfortunately, a lot of cultures don't value animals because of the exploitation of animals to make money. It is a greed thing. It is a pride thing. It is, oh, I'm a human, I'm on top of the food chain kind of thing. But when you really strip that all down and you look inside of you and really ask yourself, do I care about dogs? Like, would I eat a dog? Would I eat a cat? Would I eat a pig? What's the difference? Would I eat a cow? And yes, pigs and cows are just not as pretty and cuddly as, say, cats and dogs, but pigs are just as smart, if not smarter than dogs. Cows are loving and adorable. There's lots of pictures and videos of cows like cuddling with humans, and even chickens, they know their own name. They're very smart, and I had no idea that birds had such personalities until my friend actually got a bird as a pet, and this bird had a personality, and I was like, wow, like, even as a vegan for like 2.5 years, I didn't know that. You know, I'm vegan for 3.5 years now, so I've had a really good amount of experience of kind of what works and what doesn't. And you know what? You're going to make a mistake. more likely than not, you're going to consume some form of animal products as a vegan by mistake, and that's okay. That was a mistake, and it's about your intentions. So say you didn't read the ingredients properly, which has happened to me numerous times, and you realize after, and you're like, oh my God, I just went against everything I care about without knowing it, But my intentions are still there. I'm not going to eat this anymore. I'm going to learn from this and read the ingredients more carefully this time, Sasha. Read the ingredients. Sometimes, like, I think it's happened maybe like a handful, like 5 or 6 times where I have not read the ingredients properly. Like, I'll skim it, like, oh yeah, it's vegan. I just get a little too excited. I miss something. That's something I really have been like reading each ingredient now, because I skim a little too quickly sometimes. But that happens, and that's okay. And that does not make you a bad person. That does not make you non-vegan or a terrible vegan. That just means you still have some work to do. And if that makes you feel so guilty, you can always give back. You can always find a way to give back, to fix kind of like what you did by accident, if that really, really is bothering you. But I really hope people don't get too upset if they, by mistake, have some kind of animal product. It can happen if you go out to restaurants. And yes, if you go out to restaurants, you do run the risk of animal products touching your food, through the utensils or the cooking. At some point, I'm sure animal products have touched my food without me realizing at a restaurant. But that is kind of like the risk you take, especially, unfortunately, in today's society when, non-vegan food is so rampant. But to avoid that, if you really need to avoid all that, you can eat whole foods. You can cook at home, eat whole foods. You will never make a mistake eating whole foods, because you'll know if you have a piece of meat in your food, that you put it in there. You'd have to buy the damn meat yourself. So, let's see. Yeah, just trying to get all my thoughts together here. And also, I really think veganizing recipes from your childhood that you loved, or veganizing recipes you see on TV that you're like, oh, I wish I could have that. You can make a different version of it and veganize it. And there's so many vegan substitute products out there that taste just as good as the real thing, or even better, in my opinion, sometimes. So you just got to get yourself to Whole Foods, go online, do some research, check out some videos on YouTube of like really great vegan products. Hampton Creek is really, really doing well. Daya, which makes cheese. There's so many different and Beyond Meat, like I mentioned, in Gardein, however you say it. Just do a little bit of research, and what you have to do is learn how to eat vegan. You do need to put in some time, some thought into what you're doing, and like I said, finding those recipes that you love making. They're easy to make. You can have them all the time. Also, meal prepping for the week ahead. So if you have a busy job, or you're just not someone who wants to cook every day, you can meal prep on Sundays, make 1 or 2 different types of meals, like a lasagna or something really big that keeps for a while, maybe some kind of soup, and you can have that, throughout the rest of the week, and that is really helpful. It will help keep you on track. And if you are transitioning into being vegan, make a giant, delicious vegan dish on Sunday nights, so you can have vegan meals, throughout the week. And that's going to be really helpful for you, especially with your sanity and like having to cook every day. That would suck. Also, a lot of frozen meals are pretty delicious, like Amy's. Amy's makes a lot of frozen meals that are vegan. Also, Vegan Cafe, you can find it at Whole Foods. It's quite expensive, but their food is really, really good. And of course, it's vegan, right? I love when it already says vegan. You don't need to even worry about it. Again, you need to figure out what works for you. So there's raw to full, raw to whenever, starch solution, 80-10-10, fully raw. There's so many different kinds of veganism out there that, we all like to label. Try not to get too hung up on one. So don't think, 80-10-10 raw, like I need to be exactly 80-10-10. I'm counting all of my macronutrients. Of, oh my God, I'm 79, 11, 10. I'm gonna get fat. No, you're not. Chill. Like, really take all of the good things from all of these different types of vegan diets and make it work for you. And it takes time to kind of experiment on yourself a bit. You know, I tried doing raw. I did incorrectly the first time. I did more of a raw to whenever approach before it was like really named. And then I transitioned into raw to 4, which I felt really wonderful in, but it was hard to keep up with. And so I kind of went back to a raw to whenever thing. I wouldn't really, I guess like a bit in a way starch solution, a bit in a way exactly my type of eating. You gotta make it your own. So if you like raw to 4 and you like the way it feels and that's working for you, great. But if you're having trouble with it, maybe consider changing things around. Try having a cooked lunch, see how that feels. Try maybe having a fully raw day, see how that feels. Because you could be someone who's actually much better, you know, you do better, you feel better on eating all raw food. For me, I am not mentally at that level. I like my cooked food. I'm happy with my cooked food. It helps me a lot. I find if I go to the gym before I eat cooked food and I only have like my raw smoothie, I don't perform as well as if I eat cooked food. I know on the other hand, actually Stephanie, she's the total opposite. She does much better on eating her raw, on having her raw smoothie and then going to the gym and killing it and then having cooked food after. So it does depend on you a little bit, and it depends on you because of your goals. It depends on you because of your preferences. And it depends on you, you know, the place you are in your life and like your mental state. You know, you can't just jump into being fully raw. Well, you could, but jumping into fully raw from being non-vegan, and maybe you're just not mentally prepared to do that, and that's okay. And hey, maybe in 10 years you might be mentally prepared to do that. You have to, you know, take into account your mental state and what you can handle and what will benefit you as well. So with that being said, it's a long enough video, rambled on. I really hope that I got that point across where you don't need to be exactly what this program says. You can pick up the things you like from that program, apply it to your life, apply other things to your life that resonate with you, that work for you. And if things are not working for you, pinpoint what it is, and then try to experiment with different options. Figuring out the way you eat might take, you know, a few months, and you may not see a lot of weight loss during those months, but then after that, after you figure it out, after you're like, oh, I get it now, it's going to feel effortless, it's going to feel right, the weight will come off, you won't even realize that it's coming off because you don't care about the weight, because you're happy how you are, you're happy with the food choices you're making, you know that you're making the right food choices, so you're not really doubting yourself, and you are hopefully at that point in a position where you start to really love yourself, that the weight is not the most important thing in the world, where it's like, oh, yeah, I may be a little chubs, I may have a little bit of fat here, and here, but at the end of the day, I'm a good person and I'm doing the best I can, and that is the most important thing. So I'm not going to stress out, you know, in my head for hours thinking about, oh my God, I'm not losing weight. Like it's not the end of the world if it takes you, you know, a year or 2 years to lose 30 pounds as opposed to 30 days, you know. When you rather it be off in the long run forever than it to maybe bounce right back, and, you know, even more so, because that was my experience. I tried to lose weight too quickly. It just does not work. It comes right back on and more. Okay, long enough video. I hope you guys are having a happy and healthy day, and I'll see you later. Bye.